We discuss the arrival of the NASA's Boeing crew flight test mission to the International Space Station. Boeing's Starliner spacecraft arrived at the orbiting laboratory today at 12:34 p.m. Central Time, delivering NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni on what is the first crewed flight test for the spacecraft.
We have two problems on this vehicle right now: the helium leak and figuring out how to fine-tune these thrusters so that they're not selected off. Those are pretty small, really, issues to go deal with, and we'll figure them out for the next mission. So I don't see these as significant at all.
Next on the phone, we have David Curley with Full Throttle.
Thanks very much for doing this.
And then finally, toward the end of the day, once we got docked to the ISS, we closed the manifolds in the helium system as planned. That was always part of our operation, and we did find one extra leak in a helium leak in starboard manifold 2. It's about 7.5 psi per minute. It's a relatively tiny leak compared to the others. So, helium's a small molecule. It's easy to escape seals. So we've got to go, what we need to do over the next few days is take a look at the leak right there and figure out what we go do relative to the rest of the mission. In looking at the numbers, just at the top level, we should have absolutely plenty of margin. We didn't need an extra rendezvous day, and we'll go look at the numbers and figure out how to manage the helium manifolds.
Thanks, Mark. And the next question comes from Sophie Sanchez with Cosmic Chicago.
I think if you watched what we did today with the team and how we performed, we'll do the same thing over the next day or so. We'll take a look at the helium leaks and the manifolds and figure out what the plan is to manage. The good thing about the rest of the flight, the most demanding phase from all the thrusters that are needed on the service module really is the rendezvous and docking phase. The rest of the flight, the undocking, doesn't require quite as much redundancy and quite as much helium. And then, we can actually close manifolds for the rest of the flight phases. So I think we have some tools in our toolkit to manage this. We'll take a little time to go assess it, and we'll undock and land when we're ready.
Thank you. We are now moving on to Lauren Grush with Bloomberg.
We think right now there's something that causes the thrusters to fail, and we don't know exactly why.
I'm wondering if we can get some context about how the variety of issues Starliner experienced today.
Last night when we took a look at this and decided whether or not we had a good situation to go dock, Steve said it earlier, we needed 90 hours of helium to conduct the mission. But that included all the things Steve talked about with multiple rendezvous. That's already behind us, so we don't need that anymore. So that goes in the bank and reduces that 90 hours to something less than that.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you to all of you for being here today to answer questions, and everyone who has dialed in, not just for this briefing, but followed the mission over the last couple of days.